Welcome to Best Buds Gardening. Let's talk about growing potatoes from the grocery store. First of all, let's talk about determinate and indeterminate potato types. A russet is an indeterminate potato. That means the amount of potatoes it can produce is not limited. So here's what you can do to get more potatoes out of just one plant. 3 or 4 weeks after planting, your plant will emerge from the initial soil line. Wait until it's about 6 inches tall, then cover it up with another layer of soil or straw. The plant will continue to grow taller, and after it's grown another 6 inches, cover it up again with another layer of soil or straw. And again, and again. The end result is that you will have potatoes all down the entire stem of the potato plant. Many more potatoes than you would have had by just simply letting the plant grow. Determinate potatoes like Pontiac Reds will not behave this way. The amount of potatoes they can grow is limited or determined. They will never produce potatoes above the initial soil line. And if you keep covering it up, you'll just have a really long stem. That's why the potato towers you see on YouTube just don't seem to work sometimes. It's because they've planted determinate potatoes and they didn't know there was a difference in potato types. A quick Google search can tell you what kinds of potatoes are determinate and indeterminate. I can't tell you what kind of potatoes these are because the name is copyrighted. I bought them from the grocery store. Let's just say they're gourmet yellow potatoes. They are determinate. That means they'll be ready in about 90 days and we don't want to cover them up. We do want to sprout them, that's called chitting them, before we plant them. And normally the best way to do this is just lay them out for a few weeks on the counter. Your potatoes should start to sprout. But if it's about March 1st and you don't have any sprouts yet, we need to hurry this up. Here's a really fast way to get your potatoes to chit. We are simply going to take a bucket of soil. Damp soil, not overly wet, just damp. Just kind of mist it with a spray bottle. And then put your potatoes right on top of the soil in the bucket. And then I'm going to take some more soil and I'm going to cover the potatoes up. This fools them into thinking they've been planted. And we're just going to keep this nice and damp. And we're going to check back on them in about a week. So here's one of the potatoes out of the bag we purchased, and as you can see, it's not sprouting yet. Here's another potato out of the bag, same bag. And a third potato. If I was waiting on these guys, I'd be waiting a while. Okay. Now let's take a look at what's happening in our container of soil. Same potatoes. You can start to see little sprouts starting to form. I wouldn't quite call that all the way chitted yet, so we're going to put him back, let him go another week. But as you can see, oh, my garden scoop, I've been looking for that for a long time. As you can see, this method really does fool the potatoes into sprouting. Let's put him back for another week. Let's check out guy number 3. Oh, he's really going to town. See all the little eyes starting to sprout? Okay, let's tuck them back in for another week. About 7 more days, these potatoes will be ready to plant. So after another week, let's check our potatoes. Be careful not to break any of the sprouts off. And this guy, I think that's our guy number 3 from the last clip. He is ready for cutting and planting. He's done. We'll take him out. Let's pick up another potato. He's pretty ready. And potato number 3 somewhere. He's pretty ready too. Beautiful sprouts. Now, if we take a potato out of the bag that we purchased, still no sprouts. We would still be waiting. So this is why sometimes we have to use this really fast chit method. So now that our potatoes have sprouted, we're going to cut them apart into probably 2 square inch pieces. We'd like to have 1 or 2 sprouts per piece. So we just take a knife and separate these sprouts. That one we can even do again. Oh, but where to cut? That is the question. Wherever you want to. So there's a piece we're going to plant. There's a piece we're going to plant. Rest of the potato. This bottom end doesn't have any sprouts. We can discard it. I probably wouldn't eat it. I guess you could. So these are the pieces that we're going to be planting. We're simply cutting apart the potato sprouts. And you want to leave about a 2 square inch piece of flesh when you cut, because that feeds the potato until it grows roots. You don't need a whole lot of potato that would be rotting in the ground. You just want enough potato to feed the plant until it grows roots, about 2 square inches. Okay, continue doing this until you have all of your sprouts cut up. After cutting your potato pieces apart, you're going to want to space them out and let them dry for a day or so, and kind of let that white wet meat callus over. You want it to feel a little bit like leather. After we've done that, it's time to go ahead and plant our potato pieces. We want to plant them with the sprout facing up. That's important. We want to space them. If you're planting in the spring, you're going to want to put these about 6 inches deep. I am planting mine in the summer for a fall crop, so I'm going to plant mine 4 inches deep. And they say to space potatoes out about a foot, but you know me, I love to crowd stuff together, so I'm going to give them maybe 6 inches. Maybe. Oh, wind gust. Sorry about that. That actually hit me right in the head. So go ahead and get all of your potato pieces planted. After all of them are planted, don't forget to water them in. So about 3 weeks later, here's our first little potato plant starting to crack open the ground and come out. And there will be another one. Any place the ground is cracking like this, I don't want to dig down too deep. There he is. I'm going to cover him back up since he wasn't all the way out yet. There's another crack in the ground. There's going to be one down probably pretty far. Well, I can't find this guy, and like I say, I don't want to dig around too much in here. He's under there somewhere. But you can see all these cracks in the ground. We know our potatoes are coming up. So our potato plants are hanging out. They're looking good. They should be flowering right about now, but not all varieties of potatoes flower. So just because you don't have any flowers, don't worry. Just let them hang out and do their thing. 2.5 to 3 months after you've planted your determinate potatoes, they're going to start popping out of the ground. You will physically see them. And we don't want sunlight on these potatoes. If sunlight hits them, they're going to turn green, which you can see they already are turning green. We want to cover these up now with 1 inch or 2 of mulch or 1 inch or 2 of soil. We just have to get those potatoes out of the sunlight. Green potatoes are toxic. You don't want to eat them. So at this point, go ahead and mulch your potatoes. It's called hilling. Okay, about 90 days after you plant, your potato plants are going to start to look really bad. They're going to start to die off, and you're going to be like, oh my God, what's wrong with my potato plants? That's what they're supposed to do. And normally, you want your potato plants to die off more than this. But like I said, I planted mine in the summer for a fall harvest, and it's October. We've got some freezing temperatures coming tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest my potatoes, even though I wish they were a little bit, I wish they would have died off just a little bit more. It's a little bit too early. And we've had so much rain. This is going to be a muddy mess. But harvesting potatoes is so much fun. It's almost like an Easter egg hunt. You want to be really gentle with your shovel. A pitchfork is best, but this is all I have, and it's kind of a toy shovel anyway. So I'm just going to be really careful. I'm starting out away from the plant and coming in towards the plant, lifting the plant up. There's a nice potato covered in mud. All of these are going to be covered in mud. Some of them are going to be bigger, some of them are going to be smaller, because like I said, these potato plants weren't quite done. They really should just look dead. But we'll keep harvesting. The only other thing I need to tell you is that piece of potato that you initially planted might still be there attached to the bottom of that plant, and it might still look okay. Make sure you don't eat it. Thanks for watching, and I really do need you to subscribe.